I fail. I fail. I just failed all sorts of fail there. And I got an echo going. Oh my god! This is not the best. It's early. It's early. Hold on. Let me find it. Where is it? It's early. Here it is. Okay.
You got this, Ricky. I believe in you. I beef leave.
It is early. What did you say? Beef leave? Oh god.
I beef leave in
Don't
you.
you start that. Don't you start anything like of that kind. Oh jeez.
Wow. Ricky. It's 7:40 in the morning. I can use all the puns that I want.
All right.
It's the only way I'm getting through this. That and my chai latte.
That's true. That's chai latte. That's you bought a Keurig just for that, right?
I actually did. I missed it out there in Michigan so much that I had to buy my own.
It's good stuff, man. It's good stuff.
Now, I might have to get a box of those cups from you guys, though.
Yeah, but yeah. In fact, I actually have one right here. I'm drinking my own coffee with it right here. The S2 Games. We got these for the break room area. Nice coffee cups. They make it extra delicious, you could say, as far as a drink. Anyways, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, you're tuning in to the beginning of the week here. We got a Honcast Podcast coming at you. And as you can see, it's we definitely got plenty to talk about. It's going to be myself, and I'm going to be joined by Beef here as my co-caster here. It's going to be a two-man show, at least for the initial part of it. So looking forward to that, Beef. We got a lot to talk about, though, including this last weekend, man. How you obviously were around to cover the DreamHack the DreamHack qualifier group stages. It definitely looked like it was a lot of fun, and well, we got our results from it. So I'm excited to also talk about the future now of that, but. And then also the Sound Blaster Heroes League, of course. So, you ready, Beef?
I'm ready, Breaky. Lots to talk about. Little time, only one chai latte. We got to get going.
Let's make it through this. All right. So with that said, I figure we would start with the DreamHack qualifying. Well, actually, first things first. Let me just recap. So we got to talk about that. We got the SPHL, of course, not only this past week of the group stages itself, but also looking forward to this week. In fact, right after this podcast. That's why we're doing it earlier on podcast today, because right after this podcast, we're going to be going over, switching things over here on Honcast. We're going to be casting the first round of the Sound Blaster Heroes League. Every single match is scheduled to be casted of the Sound Blaster Heroes League between Honcast and Coldcast. So really, the coverage for the Sound Blaster Heroes League has really just been amazing, and definitely a lot of content, a lot of fun matches coming out of it. So I know the community is excited with that. But also, later on in the podcast, after we're done talking about the competitive stuff, we're actually going to be joined by a guest of S2 Games. I don't believe we've had him on before. You might have seen him before around, but he goes by the name Tony Two Toes here at S2 Games, and he's going to be joining us. He's going to be talking about a lot of the alt avatars, actually, and the new versus thing that we have with the alt avatars, and just a lot of fun stuff, on top of maybe even hinting towards the newest hero that may possibly be coming to Heroes of New Earth. So he's just a fun guy overall. He really is. So I'm sure we'll just talk about the most random stuff on top of all that, and it'll be a lot of fun. That'll be later on in the show after we're done talking about recapping the competitive matches and whatnot. But with that said, Beef, the first thing I wanted to talk about once again was the group stages of the DreamHack Winter 2013 qualifiers. And let me pull it up here for you guys real quickly. As there you go. So these were the groups, of course. We did the group drawings live. In fact, I still have the drawing bag right here with me that we selected these groups with. So these were the groups, how they looked. And after they were all said and done, we have our three teams from each group moving on to facing that deathmatch stage. The first things that stand out to me, Internet Gangsters going 6-0 in Group B, Beef. I mean, obviously, you were the one that was pretty much covering all this, though, so I'll let you kind of take over and talk about what stood out to you this weekend.
I mean, yeah, definitely Internet Gangsters looking very good in this event. I actually had the opportunity to cast with Insania immediately prior to their match against Too Much Sugar. At that point, both teams were going in 4-0. And they both knew that this one match was going to be deciding who would get the #1 seed going into those death matches. Insania said it would probably be the closest series, that he felt like those two teams are more evenly matched than anybody else in there. And I really had to agree with him. But those matches, Internet Gangsters, they definitely came to win. And I mean, the final match, we had Insania and Sender on for an interview afterward. And the first thing I had to ask him was, holy crap, what the heck was that strategy? They ran a Bombardier Puppet Master in the final game to secure the win.
Okay. Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a carry puppet or support puppet?
It was a carry puppet. Okay. Fabelli was on like 600 GPM puppet.
Cool.
Just went like Whispering Helm's Shroud. Like, even skipped the steam boots to get that nice early shroud, and it was insane. Zergo had a dominating performance. Everybody on IG was clicking. TMSR really could not find their groove in that one, but with that, IG comes out on top, and they're going to be playing the 3rd seed in those death matches. So that was definitely an interesting one to watch. The other match that I thought was pretty dang important was over there in Group A, where I believe that Team Excellent and Mass Muchacho actually split.
Yeah.
And we were very close to going into double tiebreakers with 1st and 3rd place. But Team Excellent was able to win a match against Justice League, so they were actually able to figure all that out. But Excellent was actually very close to not advancing without having to go through a tiebreaker best of 3.
Yeah, they are struggling lately. I mean, that is evident. Obviously, the Sound Blaster Heroes League, which we'll definitely talk about in just a minute anyways, but, they had a really poor performance in the group stages, not advancing on to the bracket stage of that, of course. They did officially announce that roster change with, of course, Pee-wee joining the crew and President Brodex, and it seems like that hasn't been the best start and not the best transition for them so far. But with that said, as you clarified, they did defeat Justice League, at least one game there, so they are going to be moving along in that 3rd place. That means, though, they're matched up against Internet Gangsters in their deathmatch stage. So, I mean, the first things first, we'll talk about that matchup right there. IG versus Team Excellent. So that's going to be one of the 3 death matches that is going to be taking place, a best out of 5 death match to determine which of those 2 teams is going to be qualifying through this event to go to DreamHack Winter 2013. IG has to be the favorite. If you asked me a month ago, not even like maybe like 3 weeks ago, I mean, this would be a toss-up for me personally as far as which team maybe I thought would have a chance. This would be a great, if not a full 5-game series. Honestly, with the way play has been happening lately, both from IG side and then Team Excellent side, I think IG has a pretty good matchup here in their favor, and they should have a pretty good time.
Yeah.
Whether or not that's going to be the case, we'll have to wait and see, but man, I mean, again, Team Excellent going downhill. IG is going nothing but uphill at this point.
Yeah, IG, they're definitely looking like they are really contending for the number 3 spot and maybe even encroaching on Lions. They're at number 2 if they keep playing the way that they are. And Insania and Sender, they've made it very clear that they're taking this seriously, and they've been scrimming a lot. They're finally starting to come together with their synergy. And for a lot of the players on that team, it's going to mean a lot to actually be able to make it there to DreamHack. I expect big things out of them in that group stage. Whereas Pew, and you said they're kind of going downhill, and I even been talking to some of the people over there. It seems like maybe they're going to be focusing less on Han, especially with the addition of Pee-wee into the roster. I don't know. Seems like things are just kind of off right now with Team Excellent. Just that intangible factor is no longer there, and their success has kind of gone by the wayside along with it. Yeah,
it is kind of an interesting topic with that said as well, because obviously, so in this matchup here, you're making the point, IG's just really stressed this tournament. They really want to go DreamHack, and they are playing with Sender, of course, who's from North America. So now Team Excellent is one of these teams where if they happen to not qualify through this event, which could be very possible, obviously playing against IG here in the best out of 5, they still have another chance to qualify in the Swedish, or not the Swedish, but the Nordic tournament over there in that region. So, of course, and I believe 2 more spots are going to be coming, 1 or 2 maybe, at least 1. I actually don't know if it's 2 or 1, but at least 1 is going to become, 1 more is going to become, and then there's even the BYOC on top of that will be at the event itself. So, you have teams like Lion Esports Club, Justice League, Team Excellent. These teams have backup plans, to say the least.
Justice League doesn't.
Justice League does not?
Justice League is not Nordic. They would have to go to the BYOC. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. They have some Danish players, don't they? Okay.
And German,
and German. Okay, that's right. That's a good point. So I guess maybe not as much for Justice League, but yeah, Team Excellent Lions are the 2 that really stand out as far as the ones that kind of have that backup plan. So Excellent, I kind of wonder if that also is going to have an impact in the matchup, and I think it will. I frankly think it will. They're saying to themselves, you know what, obviously, IG, they've been really hot lately. Let's not worry too much about this. Let's just go into it, have some fun. Worst comes to worst, though, we could qualify through the Nordic qualifiers or even go to the BYC if need be. That's probably not what you want to do in the end. I mean, obviously qualifying here and also knocking out a team like IG going into the DreamHack event, at least with their full roster, that's a pretty big deal. That really is. But I don't think it's, again, IG's just been looking so good. They're being so innovative with their strategies. That's even just a secondary support bombardier going with the carry puppet. I mean, that's just crazy on top of many things that they've been doing recently. So I don't think Excellent has much of a chance here, honestly, once again. So.
Yep, we'll see. I mean, that momentum, very important, and we've seen it in the past. We saw it actually DreamHack winner last year where teams were looking undefeatable, notably Complexity Gaming, looking completely undefeatable. Week and a half before the tournament in a Han Tour match, their streak was broken by Trademark Esports, and that was really the downfall of Complexity Gaming in their dominance. So those matches immediately prior to DreamHack, they can change absolutely everything. And Excellent, if everything does click, they definitely have what it takes to bring down the Internet Gangsters, but I think IG definitely the favorites. I think probably the most important match out of those death matches, though, is going to be Justice League versus TMSR. Neither one of these teams has a sure thing with the Nordic qualifiers. It's either this or the BYOC, or you're not going to DreamHack.
Yeah. Yeah, and the likelihood of these two teams, especially a team like TMSR, going to a BYOC if they don't qualify to this is very, very unlikely, because obviously that's a lot of money on their own dime that they would have to invest in terms of going, and then with no guarantees that they're going to be making anything out of it. So it's this is pretty much it, even for both these teams. I think it's safe to say as far as going on. So yeah, when this was a matchup that definitely stood out to me as like, wow, now this one. This is going to determine obviously a lot right here. The both of the number 2 seeds obviously, so even that in that sense it definitely works out. But Too Much Sugar versus Justice League. Now, as far as how that one's going to play, again, I don't know. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, I think this is the one to watch out of the 3 matchups, definitely. Because of what is all on the line, as we just talked about, especially with only one of these teams having a chance and no more chances after this, most likely. But I don't know. I'm finding myself in between as far as who to lean towards. I mean, Justice League, I've said it that they're a roller coaster team. Some days they'll look completely on the ball. Emma Boy's farming like a madman. The team is just coming together. And other days, it just seems like, what are they doing? Complete question marks. Like, what is going on here? What are you guys thinking? TMSR, to an extent, are kind of like that as well. I think a little bit. I honestly think a little bit less, though, but that is true. I mean, they are kind of that roller coaster team themselves. They have all the potential in the world with their players, but it seems like they too go up and down as far as their success. So who's going to have the better days, I guess, is what it's going to come down to with these two teams here, right, Beef?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Breaky, and it really is going to be quite dependent because, I mean, we saw this weekend that TMSR looked nearly undefeatable on day 1, and then they stepped into their matches against IG, and the draft was off, the laning positions were off.
Yeah.
Like, I mentioned it before that Slick's, like, he just had a really, really bad time. I don't think he broke 200 gold per minute throughout the entire series on both a Pebbles and a Bubbles in the middle lane. And it was just really rough. So if they can work their kinks out, if they show up, TMSR is definitely a contender for like top 3 in the world. But there's also those days where they do not show up. And Justice League, if they happen to fire off at the right time, could be putting a quick stop to a fan favorite here. So that's I agree with you. That's the match to watch right here.
You made up a great point at the end. I was going to bring that up too. Talk about fan favorite. I mean, TMSR has they have a lot more of a fan base than Justice League, I think it's safe to say. I mean, again, just with their individual players, especially with Moon Meander alone, what he brings to the table with his Moonies and whatnot. So it's safe to say, a lot of people are going to be tuning in that, even hoping that TMSR wins for that reason alone. But so Justice League, I guess, in that sense, are kind of the underdogs here. They're kind of the underdogs in that sense where, again, everyone just wants them to lose to TMSR, but Justice League has just as much of a good chance on any given Sunday to beat this team, no doubt. So,
Breaky, I think we might have to stack the cards in favor of TMSR. If Moon doesn't make it there, I think we might have a riot on our hands. So
it's going to be pretty brutal.
It's going to be insane because last time Moon was not there was winter 2011 when TKO was still part of TDM, right?
I believe so. Wow, yeah, that was a while ago. So.
And then 2 weeks later, Moon replaced him at NASL Finals.
He's been to the last 3? Yeah, I guess he has, hasn't he? Yeah. So his fans are excited to see him once again there, and they are hoping that they win. That's for sure. So, yeah, that also adds to the sense of there's going to be extra pressure. I mean, on those guys. I mean, they've been through it before, sure. With even previous DreamHack events and whatnot, qualifying for those. But there's going to be some extra pressure for him, for Kazu, for Slicks, and in terms of him getting back especially. So, that's going to be a fun matchup. That is the best matchup of those 3, I think, is kind of undisputable.
There's so much history there too. I mean,
Yeah.
just talking about the players on that team, 2 current DreamHack champions, 2 current DreamHack runners-up.
Yeah.
Between them, like you have like 12 podium appearances on DreamHack on that team.
Yeah.
Like it's preposterous the amount of appearances there. So it's pretty interesting, and I think it would be a shame if TMSR didn't make it, but we're gonna have to see if they can actually pull it out. It's all gonna come down to that match.
Yeah, the better team definitely deserves to move on in the end. So, Justice League again, they're going to be those underdogs in that sense as far as the fan base goes. But when it comes to the actual play, I mean, I could definitely see that being a 5-game series. I could also see that being a 3-0 in one team's favor, just because the other team didn't show up on that day. I mean, I find that hard to believe. But again, these teams seem to be on that roller coaster ride. So, who knows where they'll be on the day.
Speaking of not showing up there, Absolute Legends is in the last death match.
Yes.
They came very close to forfeiting.
Did they really? Okay.
They unfortunately showed up about 45 minutes late to one of their matches, and the admins and the other team allowed them to play on, even though it probably should have been a forfeit at that point. So
yeah,
they were able to take down the Team Kage and squeaked in with the last spot there to the death matches.
Well, congrats. You get to play Lion Esports Club.
Have fun.
Yeah, not to sound harsh or anything, but no, there's no chance here. I mean, Lions is going to sweep this series 3-0. I'm very confident in that. I mean, Absolute Legends, it just even here, I didn't even realize that they even showed up that late. But it clearly, again, this is a team, kind of like that Team USA factor. They have a lot, even less, honestly, I think less skill, though. I mean, Team USA, they had players with a lot of history in Heroes of Newerth, from Tralf to Beaka to Zai, of course, and Peter and everything, and Riser. Here you have Absolute Legends. They never really shined on the competitive scene as like that top team like Team USA did at points. Absolute Legends is more of they're a flashy team. They're a fun team to watch. They always were. They got great players like Cookies, of course. That's a lot of fun to watch. But this is not a team, though, that I can see, just coming back on the side, a casual thing, and a chance to beat the number 2 team in the world right now with so much on the line. I mean, again, a trip to DreamHack is on the line here. Lions is not going to they're not going to overlook Absolute Legends. At least I hope they don't for their sake, because that's the last thing that they should do. I think that they're going to come into this 110%. They're going to be here to win, and that's going to show in that matchup. So.
We'll have to see. Lions has been acting really cocky. Swindlemon's brought it up in a cast, and I gotta agree with him. Ever since they have really found some major success, probably in the last month, maybe month and a half now, they've been kind of taking it a little bit easy on some teams that they might not be respecting quite enough. They'll get into these massive leads, like 10K in 12 minutes or something like that, and then they'll just kind of toy with their opponents. And they did it twice this weekend, where they almost gave Excellent a chance back into it, and they almost gave Mass Muchachos a chance back into it as well. So, and then they lost a game to Justice League. So there's definitely still some vulnerability there, but I think Lions still the overwhelming favorites. And I mean, talk about fan favorites if they actually make it out there to the Elmia Breaky.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Absolute Legends. Yeah, that would be something.
I'm talking about Lions.
Oh, you're talking about Lions. Okay, well, yeah, of course.
Powerhouse here.
Well, it kind of this. We talked about Team X, but with this early, how Lions has that backup in a sense. Obviously, they could compete in the Nordic if it absolutely comes to that. I obviously don't think it's gonna come to that, but if for whatever reason that happens, then they do have the backup plan. I don't think that's going to be the back of their mind, though. At the same time, yeah, I mean, you are right, though. It's you do kind of wonder maybe if their success rates left being that number 2 team on the scene, and in that cycle 3 where they defeated Stay Green, or cycle 4 even where they defeated Stay Green, that maybe it took it a little bit to them. We maybe saw it a little bit in cycle 5 and whatnot, but I don't know. It's again, with just so much on the line that they seem like that they're a serious enough team, and if anything, this is their chance to really prove themselves. That they are a team that not only can compete with Stay Green, but can't beat them. I mean, and that'll be at DreamHack Winter 2013, no doubt. And they're going to be the home favorites on top of that, as he said, with going to Elmia and everything. So, yeah, I think they're going to be here to win. And I don't know. I guess I can see Absolute Legends maybe stealing a game, which is some crazy, funky strategy out of nowhere. But I think this is the certain one that's going to be 3-0 for me. I don't see it any other way personally.
I just hope the match gets played.
Well, that's a good point too. And see, that is the other thing. How maybe I'm being a little bit harsh on Absolute Legends, but again, this is a team that they played one game to even get into the group stages in the first place because their other matches were forfeits. I'm not saying that's their fault because their opponents forfeited, but they're not playing an HON Tour. They're not playing in the SPHL. I mean, this is literally the only event that they're in, and they've only played one game going into the group stage, one series, and now they've played 8 games in total over the last couple of weeks of Heroes and Newer. So,
and I mean, I talked to Creams last night. He made an appearance on my personal stream, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna play the death match." Just saying that in the public chat, and I'm just like,
that'd be sad. I mean, it's just that's at a point of that's almost it's kind of what Team USA did with that whole situation, with the whole pausing situation. It's just kind of just a mockery on the scene. And if that's the case, then I would be really disappointed in them. So I hope for the sake, and if they aren't, then we need to get that information ASAP and definitely maybe get them replaced. But
we'll hold judgment until it actually happens. But I think that I speak for everyone. We want them to play. They qualified here. We want them to play their match. And if they're not able to, like you said, they got to get that information soon, try to get a replacement, try to figure out something like that. But speaking of last minute changes, it was originally a tiebreaker, head-to-head tiebreaker was kill death ratio, and then it got changed halfway through the weekend to a best of 3 head-to-head tiebreaker. And we were actually going into the last match. We were one map away from having a first and third tiebreaker in Group A and a first place tiebreaker in Group B.
Oh, wow.
And then none of them happened. All the matches went the other direction. So it was very close to being a massive tiebreaker situation. But
so if Justice League beat Team Excellent twice, then it would have been a tie for first.
And if TMSR had split with IG,
Okay. That would have been interesting, man. Justice League was able to pull it out in Group A. That would have been something as far as coming down to first. And then you would have Lions versus TMSR if that possibly happened. Oh, my God. That could have been crazy. That could have been really crazy.
It was insane. The games were really good this weekend. They were really good.
Good to hear.
So,
thank you again for obviously stepping in and
of course,
and taking care of it. By the way, I did see the birthday wishes in chat. Thank you very much, guys. So shout out to that. Obviously, I was away this weekend enjoying that, but I'm back now and ready to cast some Heroes of Newerth again. So, all right. So again, that's the DreamHack qualifiers. As far as those group matches. They are set to be played, I want to say, let me see if I can actually find the exact
30th, 31st, and the 1st.
That's what I thought.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of not this week, but the following.
Okay, so Wednesday, as far as which match is on which day, I don't think that's been 100% determined just yet. So they'll need to get that figured out. But obviously, as soon as we have that information for you guys, we'll pass it along. And what a 3-day stretch that is going to be. As far as those matchups, again, even the Absolute Legends versus Lions. I mean, I'm still expecting at least a fun matchup to say the least. And even though I expect it to be one-sided, still it should be a lot of fun. And again, a trip to DreamHack is on the line, and it's just so much. It really is. And the emotion that the players have. We see it every single time we do a qualifier like this. Whenever they qualify for DreamHack, especially, it's like, oh my God, we did it. And then they're happy and everything. So it's good to see. It's a lot of fun to see.
It was kind of insane yesterday when IG ended up winning 2-0 over TMSR, brought on both Insania and Sender, and we talked about a few different things, and then I say to Insania, I'm like, okay, so about your SBHL match tomorrow, your actual matchup is not released just yet, so let's not talk about your matchup, but how are you feeling going into the round of 8? He's like, well, I'm really looking forward to playing Denial Esports in the round of 8. Just he's so elated. He didn't even hear what was going on at all. They were so excited. And it's always great to see that genuine passion come out. And I mean, that's what we do it for. We're not here to make it rich as casters or players. We're not here to get famous. We're here because we love the game. And it's always great when you see that real passion come through. Yeah,
the real emotion. And DreamHack definitely brings that out. It's no doubt. As far and always has, as far as the DreamHack. And again, this is going to be our 7th time I think we're going to DreamHack now, as far as Heroes and Newerth. That really is insane, and it's definitely the tournament as far as the prestige and everything that is around it. So, it's a great experience for these players. So they're all going to be getting through all, I'm sure, as far as that couple of those 3 days to go for the death match again. October 30th, 31st, and the 1st of November is when that's going to be happening. That Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. You do not want to miss that. 3 best out of 5 matches to determine that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll talk more about that probably next week leading into it on the podcast once again, so not too much more. Let's take a look now and talk about the other big event that's been going on, of course. The Sound Blaster Heroes League has officially wrapped up with the group stages. And actually, I got the standings here to show you guys real quickly. So, of course, this is how standing Group A finished as far as the standings go. Definitely some notable things. One being, obviously, Stay Green, undefeated, 5-0 there, as they ended in that Group A. But the other big thing is, well, Team Excellent knocked out, as we talked about earlier. In case you missed it, Team Excellent finished 1-4. Their only win was against New Generation, one of the teams from Southeast Asia. The other team from Southeast Asia, DC Fabulous, they actually defeated Team Excellent, thus with the 1-4 record, and thus them not moving on with New Generation. So,
and I gotta say, I mean, even that one win, that was a forfeit. Like that was the one of the two forfeits that we had out of our 30 matches in the group stage, and I kind of made a poke at Team Excellent going into their final matches during the group stage. I was like, and we're starting this event. It's going to be called the Will Team Excellent Win a Match this week.
An actual match, yeah.
Win a game, like a single game this week.
Yeah.
But, of course, just having a good joke over there with the guys from Team Excellent. But, yeah, they had a really rough time. That was right after changing things up with Pee-wee into Brodex and coming away without an actual game win there in the group stages.
Yeah.
I think both of the captains, when we did interviews with them, were pretty surprised that Team Excellent did not make it through.
Yeah, it's no doubt. I mean, you looked at both groups. It was pretty evident which four teams quote unquote should have moved on as far as, you know, just recent results, what we expect out of them. And I'm going to go back to DC Fabulous. Frankly, I did not see anything good out of these guys in the Southeast Asian qualifiers. I thought that they were going to get completely rolled over. I thought they were going to be completely mismatched. You know, they were just going to have a good time in the you know, but still be outmatched, you know, whatever. At least they got the experience. You know, good for them. Hopefully they can use that. So I don't know if I'm more impressed by DC Fabulous or just that much more of a case of like, wow, Team Excellent. I mean, that's not good. That's not good when you're dropping a game to a team like that in a very important group stage here. So,
yeah, and it was a hard fought game. It wasn't as if Team Excellent played awful in that game. It was just a case of DC Fabulous looked really good. They had a farmed Sandwraith that they were executing their strategy and making sure that they kept the pressure up the entire game. In the end, I want to say that one went to like 65 minutes and ended in a base race or something.
It seemed like it was a long game, yeah.
It was an insane game, and DC Fabulous came out on top. It was already an extremely important match. I think Team Excellent was 1-2 going in, and New Generation was 1-1. So, or excuse me, 0-1. DC Fabulous, sorry. So, in any case, I mean, I'm right there with you. I was not expecting huge things out of DC Fabulous. They're currently ranked like 9th, I think, in G League Southeast Asia. Yeah. So that gives you kind of an impression. New Generation, I thought I was expecting more out of them in Group A. I was thinking maybe that they would actually be the more dominating team, and they ended up dropping out here, going 0-5. But I got to say, big props to both of the teams for showing up to their matches, and especially the guys in New Generation. Even when they were eliminated, they showed up, they played their matches, they had fun, and you know what? It's always great to have people from the Southeast Asian region coming in. Middle of the night, high ping, they're happy to be here and happy to play.
Exactly. Get the experience, have fun with it, and they most certainly got that. So, you know, props to them, props to DC Fabulous, New Generation, and Orange Esports, of course, for playing for that region especially. And speaking of that, what's that?
Fantasy in chat wanted me to mention the early GGs, and there was definitely some mad early GGs coming out of DC Fabulous against Excellent, like 30 minutes before the game ended. Like there was some serious trash talk going back and forth.
Good.
And
I love it.
I loved it. Yeah, it was great.
Bring it. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. I would say I'm an advocate of, you know, the fun trash talking, at least the occasional.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Going back to the emotion thing even, anyways, Group B here. This is obviously, so Group A, once again, you got the 4 teams. It's Stay Green, TMSR, Denali Esports, and DC Fabulous. In Group B, we ended up having Lion Esports Club, Fade to Black, Justice League, and Internet Gangsters, Orange Esports. It came down to the final day for Orange, Justice League, and Fade to Black. It was still undetermined which of those 3 teams was not going to be moving on. Orange, unfortunately, just wasn't able to match up against both of those teams, and thus they finished 2-3, and thus they were knocked out. So that's the big thing that stands out, obviously.
That was a huge surprise to me.
Yeah.
When they went into that one 2-1 with a win over Internet Gangsters, I was like, there's almost no way that they don't qualify right here.
Yeah.
In the end, Justice League and Fade to Black end up winning some of their matches, and then they each win the head-to-head against Orange.
Yeah.
Orange is done right then and there. And I would say that people really expected, and once again, that's one of the things we asked the captains about in the interviews that we did was, what did you guys think about Orange? And it kind of comes down to like, they had some really good games. And then you look back at like the Hellbringer support strategy, and it's like, when you're in a best of one group stage where you're only playing 5 matches, every single one counts. And something like that, just going out on a limb, trying something a little bit different, that very well may have been what cost them their ticket into the playoffs.
Well, yeah, there's no secret, and I did get a little bit of slack for this. I believe there was definitely some Southeast Asian fans, some Orange Esports fans even in chat. So I get that, and definitely. But what I'm bringing up is that I've always been a huge advocate of Orange. I've always said this, especially about those guys. I love those guys. I think that they're a great team and everything, great players. But their decision-making, not only the Hellbringer support, but just the play in general. I casted both of them against Justice League and Fade to Black. Again, against IG, they looked amazing. Their strategy was great. They were just high octane. They really caught IG off guard, and they just kept the pressure on to the point where they eventually were able to come through. Against Fade to Black and Justice League, though, just like against Lion Esports Club, something was off. I mean, the decision-making of when to push, when to go for ganks, the one draft, I forget who they did against, but they drafted a Swiftblade and a Predator in one lineup. It just seemed like it was really funky. They weren't really spreading the farm the best. It was all over the place. So I still stand by that. Their decision making just was not the best. Yes, latency is an issue, and people kept going back to like, stop being harsh on them. They're playing on 300 ms.
Yeah.
When is there a point though where that's so are they just allowed to always use it as an excuse? And that's so. Oh, we lost, but we're playing on 300 ms, so that's why. I mean, you can't just keep doing. Decision making has nothing to do with latency most of the time, at least. So. That was my frustrating part because, again, and I say that because I expected, just like you, just like a lot of people, them to even move on out of the group stages, and they can beat teams like Justice League and Fade to Black, most certainly. So it was more out of disappointment, more out of frustration in that sense that I was coming from when critiquing Orange Esports. But, with the way they played, frankly, they didn't deserve to move on. I mean, they did not win those games, and Fade to Black and Justice League deserved to move on. So talking about the 4 teams that are moving on out of Group B, again, Fade to Black, Justice League, Lions, of course, at 5-0, and then IG at 3-2. So, obviously, Fade to Black is the other hot topic here. Yeah. As far as what they bring to the table, got to cast them. Obviously, their 2 wins were against the Law and Orange Esports. So the 2 teams that eventually didn't move on. I don't expect a whole lot out of Fade to Black in the end, but I did find it interesting. I'll bring it up. I mean, so. Now we got the round of 8 brackets. Again, the first place team got to choose their opponent in the first round. So Stay Green, they chose to play Justice League, though, over Fade to Black.
Yeah.
And I found that a little interesting. I don't know, what was your take on that?
Well, my take is that Swindlemon's explained his exact reasoning in the interviews that we did with him.
Okay.
So he definitely said that he finds Justice League a little bit more predictable and knows what you're getting into when you're playing Justice League. He says he thinks Fade to Black has a little bit higher chance of an upset. And Swindlemounds, he's very strategic. He talked with me pretty extensively before he made his pick, trying to figure out just how he could manipulate the bracket to his will. Like, before we actually knew what the final seedings were, he's like, how do I get the internet gangsters to be on the same side of the bracket as Lions Esports Club? And the only way he could do it is if IG didn't take second.
Yeah.
And then they took second. So he's like, damn. He's like, so now what else can I do? He's like, Fade to Black, I think they have higher upset potential than Justice League. So we're going to go ahead and put Justice League in our side of the bracket and make Fade to Black play against the other teams, the other strong teams over there. So Swindlemon's, strategic on the battlefield, strategic here when he's trying to make something happen with the bracket. So, he's definitely somebody that's a very cerebral player and trying to get any advantage he can.
Yeah, and that obviously shows even with this. So that is interesting to kind of hear that. It makes sense, not only looking out for themselves, but how can they possibly get Lions knocked out or TMSR into the loser's bracket, with their matchup. So Lions, on the other hand, their choice was a little more obvious, frankly.
Yeah.
They went with DC Fabulous, as you can see. Again, not a shocker there. And just like we talked about earlier, I don't think that is – in fact, we're going to be covering that match here first here on Honcast right after the podcast. So looking forward to that. But, I do expect a Lions Esports Club to definitely have a good time there. in that matchup, to say the least. That would be something if DC Fabulous is able to pull up and even take a game off Alliance. I mean, that would frankly be really, really surprised. But, hey, we'll see. We'll see if they can manage that. But so here we are with the round of 8 brackets now as a result of the group stages beef. And we got the matches. So we talked about the first place teams who they're choosing to play. But then also you look at the other matchups. Holy crap. I mean, Too Much Sugar versus Fade to Black. And that's going to be, of course, the later matchup that we covered today. So TMSR versus Fade to Black. That should be a great one there. I mean, definitely potential there for either team to win, really. Again, Fade to Black, that wild card team, but they show that they can compete, and they still can with the players, even as unpracticed as they are as of late, but still a dangerous team to face. And then IG versus Denial Esports. That's another really good one, I think, and that's even a rematch, obviously, of the qualifiers for the DreamHack in that round of 16, leading into the group stages. So
I feel like that's a bit of a rivalry that's been developing here. The DreamHack matches that you were mentioning right there, I want to say that they might be matched up actually when Diamond Division actually starts again. Diamond Division Cycle 7, I think they are going to be playing 6. Yeah. I think they will play each other in the first round just because of the way that the seedings actually worked out, which would be pretty interesting. Yeah. But yeah, these teams, they're on a very even level. I definitely put Denial above Justice League, above Excellent right now, and probably right niched in there along with TMSR, probably just a tiny bit below IG. Yeah. So I think that's probably our match to look forward to. Swindlemon thinks there's pretty big possibilities for upsets here in this round of 8, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the thing is, though, what do you consider an upset? Like, for me, DC Fabulous beating Lion, yes, that would be an absolute upset. That would be huge. Justice League beating Stay Green, yes, that would be an upset. The other two matchups, though, I don't see either team winning being an upset, honestly. I mean, as you just said, Denial would maybe be the upset just because of results as of recently. But I agree. I think there is a bit of a rivalry being built there, and Denial's matched up to play against these guys. They have that aggressive play style themselves. They have the willingness to try different strategies themselves. And they're – so – I guess, yeah, that's where you could say it would be an upset still if Denial was to come through. But again, that's not like as even close to one of those, again, such as DC Fabulous or even Justice League over State Green, in my opinion. So those two matchups, the middle ones are the ones that are really, anything could happen, I think, at least, as far as those two go. So
it's gonna be interesting. I gotta tell you, Breaky, I'm so excited. I was making these graphics last night, and as it's all coming together, I'm just like, oh. Yeah, this is going to be such a sweet week.
It is. Well, yeah, you also look at the brackets. Got the losers bracket here, so this is how this plays out as far as the schedule and whatnot. And then, of course, the grand final bracket. So it starts today. It goes all the way to Saturday, October 26th, where the grand finals will be played at 12 p.m. Eastern.
I'm supposed to say Sunday, actually.
Is it Sunday? Oh, yeah, I apologize.
I screwed that up.
Damn it, Beef.
I'm sorry.
Here we are, all excited about this. You screwed up. Now everything's ruined.
Guys, I'm sorry. I'm going to go take care of this.
Sunday, October 27th is when it actually is.
Yes. Okay. And my major concern now is daylight savings time. Okay. We're going to be hit by the daylight savings time monster on Saturday.
I hate that.
In Europe, but not North America.
Stupid. Why do the Europeans have to be so different than the North Americans?
Damn it, Europe. Worst country.
America. Worst country. Yeah.
It's gonna be good though.
That's
Ricky.
Always fun dealing with every year, but or twice a year even. But yeah, okay. So Sunday is the grand final, to clarify, and we'll have the exact times, especially as we get near that day, as far as with the daylight savings and everything. Cool. Yeah. No, this every single day here, obviously between Honcast and Coldcast, we're gonna be covering these bracket stages. All the way up until the end. So this Sound Blaster Heroes League event, I think it's safe to say, it's even no matter what finishes off with you. I mean, it's already been such a huge success, and looking forward to finishing it off appropriately. With that said, too, so this week, I know there's been a little bit of confusion with this, even from the players, which I find kind of ridiculous. But Han Tour has been pushed back. Cycle number 6, obviously it wasn't this last weekend. It's not this weekend either. It's actually pushed back all the way to November 2nd. So it's pushed back all the way till after the DreamHack death matches even. So November 2nd is the first day of cycle number 6. actually, for Haunter Season 2. So to clarify that, and again, that happened as a result of the Sound Blaster Heroes League, the DreamHack qualifiers and everything that had to be put in there. So it's not like this was like a last-second decision by any means. I mean, it was in place now for a little bit. It's just, I guess, people, they're so used to Haunter being every single weekend that, when it wasn't a weekend, it's like, wait a second, what happened to Haunter? Is it over? Is it finished? No, it's not finished. It's only at the halfway point.
Canceled.
Yeah, it's all done. We're just
done.
Screw it. Enough gold coins have been given away, damn it. Too much Plinko's being played.
Damn it, Breaky, I need more Plinko coins.
Already?
I'm an addict.
Holy crap.
No. I've only spent half of them.
Okay. Jesus.
Oh, God. Man. It's hard, man. Like, you turn on the stream and all the viewers are just like, Plinko.
Yeah.
And then you just roll and then you get a bronze one. You're like, oh, I want to hit that diamond. And you're just like, I haven't hit diamond in like 30 Plinko rolls, man.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Oh, man. So there's going to be some Plinko tournaments coming up soon, man. It's the new best MOBA, I swear.
It really is.
It really is. It's just it's amazing. It is. All right. So with that said, I think we pretty much got that covered as far as the Sound Blaster Heroes League. Again, that starts today. Lion Esports Club versus DC Fabulous, followed by Too Much Sugar versus Fade to Black is going to be our schedule. Then you guys take over tomorrow on Honcast with the other round of 8 matchups, and then also on Wednesday. So Monday will be Honcast, Tuesday and Wednesday will be Honcast, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday will be Honcast. I believe you're actually jumping in a couple of those days too, because there'll be 2 matches at once. But anyways,
once on Friday. There's one overlapping losers bracket round for matchup.
That's right.
Yeah, we were
only
able to bring you 12 best of 3s
Darn.
On single stream, and then a best of 5. So there's one best of 3 that's going to be double coverage.
Yeah.
Rough.
I know. Rough life. Grand finals, by the way. What did we find out? The details? Best of 5.
Best of 5.
1 game series
best
advantage. 1 game.
Straight.
Ooh, straight. Best of 5.
Straight. It is going straight.
Nice. The
winners get to choose first side, and first server preference they get to create or something. I don't know.
Cool. $15,000 grand or prize pool on the line. It's the top 3 teams get paid, right?
4.
Top 4 teams. Okay.
7,500, 3,500, 2,500, 1,500.
Ooh, quite the jump there from first to second. That's just good to see. And then a little bit. Okay, cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, a lot of money on the line, man. Shout out to Sound Blaster one more time again, as far as that's concerned. All right, we're now going to add our guest here. This picture, I'm not. I don't.
Is that photoshopped or is he insane?
I'll let him answer that. All right, we are now joined by, as you can see, he's known by Tony Two Toes here on the podcast. I think he's muted himself.
Yo, why is it so dark?
You're good.
All right.
Why is it so dark? It looks fine to me.
Is that natural? Okay, there we go. There we go.
Get some light. It's not the lightest outside today, so.
It's not. It looks like a rainforest.
It's a gloomy day in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It is.
That's every day.
Sadly, it is.
It's sad.
Lately. Welcome to the podcast, by the way.
How you guys doing?
We're doing great. I'm doing great, at least.
Very good.
Beef, you doing good?
I'm doing great. Guzman, what's up with your Skype picture? Is that you or is that Photoshop?
No, that's me. Like, no one believes me.
You're insane?
No one believes you, yeah.
Yeah, that was me after 30 days of yoga.
Dang.
I know, right?
Time to sign up for yoga.
It works.
Yoga. All right,
Let's do it, Breaky.
Big guns.
We're gonna be that ripped after 30 days, baby. Woo!
Going for it. Going all out. All right. So we're joined by Tony Two Toes here. I know you as Michael, but you're known by Tony Two Toes to the community. What do you do at S2 Games? We'll start with that. What the hell do you do? Who are you, first off?
Well, my name is Michael Guzman, a.k.a. Tony Two Toes. What I do here is to help oversee the creation of the different, all avatars and heroes in the game, like conceptually. Not so much their abilities, but, what they're going to look like and how they're going to fit into the game. So, aesthetics, pretty much.
Yeah.
Idea guy.
Idea guy. So you got the ideas. Awesome. How long have you been working for S2 Games?
Damn, it's been about almost 2 years.
Has it?
2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Dang.
Time flies.
Wow, you've been here for a while. So
yeah.
Did you start with where you're at, or have you kind of built up to? Where you're at? Right
No, it was funny. I just started interning here, and I didn't really know exactly what I want to do. I was working in a regional at first, and just failing terribly at that. So, Lore Meister, Ryan was nice enough to be like, "Yeah, man, you should, work in content." So, I've been in content ever since.
Right on, right on. All right, so speaking of content, speaking of the alt, obviously there's a lot. There's a lot of there's a lot of alt avatars, especially within Heroes of New Earth, and a lot of fun ones. Of course, I find myself. It seems like every single cast nowadays we have just we have a new avatar that pops, and I have ADD, so I just focus on it for the first 2 minutes of the game. I point out its flaws as we've seen before, and that's come up.
You're good at doing that, man. Keep us on our toes.
Good at pointing out your mistakes. Yeah, I think there was that Soul Reaper one that I very
much remember. I think Yan Lu Wang.
The leg is all freaky and.
Oh yeah, he had the gimp leg.
Oops.
I don't know, man. There's some good ones. I'm personally in love with the new Pentient Lodestone. He looks like a combination of Blastoise and Megatron. Oh man, it's sick. He's got the cannons on his back, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, speaking about that, so what's the deal with this? Obviously, so we had the Hunter versus Rift, I think it was a while back for the avatars. So we just started this new one, I guess, Hellforged versus Iron Legion. Is that correct?
This is true.
Okay.
This is true.
What is the deal?
The Iron Crusades. Well, basically, it's going to culminate with the release of the next hero. So you can only say a little bit about it without giving too much information. But it's pretty much like the scientists and engineers of the Hellborn got together and they're like, yeah, let's start a robot fight. So they did that with legions, and then the leaders of these two factions are gonna come at a head at the end.
Yeah.
And the leader of the Legion one is already in the game, but the leader of the Hellborn one isn't in the game yet. So you'll see who it goes, and they have their own little backstory between each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Coming up with it. We love robots. Me personally, I love making robots and monsters and aliens. So they're like, yeah, let's make some robots. We're like, all right, cool, let's do it.
That's simple. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a big question right here, but favorite alt avatar you've ever been a part of creating, or is there anything off the top of your head, even a couple?
All avatar,
yeah.
Or my favorite thing that I feel like I really Grinix. Grinix was my favorite.
So you were part of Grinix.
Yeah. Grinix, Oogie. Oogie was the first one that I was I had a lot of control over, so that one's kind of near and dear to me, and then he was able to put some of my personality into it. So Oogie, Grinix were some of my favorites.
So you're talking about the actual hero designs themselves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All avatar wise, the Fat and Four. Fat and Four is one of my favorite ones.
That's pretty good.
Just because, that one was if you've ever watched Aqua Teen Hunger Force, where the inspiration for that one came from.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Red Raja, man. Dude, there's so many. And it's hard to keep up with, locking down which one's your favorites.
Yeah. I'm sorry, speaking of Grinix real quickly, didn't you do the voiceover for, was it
Slender Man?
Slender Man Grinix? Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
Scary,
it was just sound, as creepy as possible. And I was like, well, that just comes natural. So just pretty much into the room, and they're like, yeah, just whisper. And I was trying to talk backwards and stuff like that. So it was pretty fun, man.
Experience.
Slender Man's just cool. His whole he's just this boogeyman that just goes around in a suit.
Yeah.
He goes attack people in a suit. I was like, that's cool. Yeah. So
he just walks up to you. He doesn't even do anything really.
He doesn't need to. He just walks up to you and lays hands or tentacles or whatever, and then he just takes you to the naughty place.
So for anyone that thinks Oogie's broken, anyone that thinks Grinix is broken, you're to blame pretty much.
No. Like I said, I tell the designers what I think would be cool, and they're like, yeah, all right, sure, we'll do that. But it's up to them, But if you're like Oogie, he's terrible lines, or conceptually yeah, he looks stupid, he doesn't fit in, then yeah, come at me, because that's my fault. But if he's overpowered or something like that, that's not me. That's Waza in them.
Were you involved in the Oogie song?
No, I wasn't. I love it though. I really
song.
do like it. Yeah, that was all. I think Violet.
Okay.
Violet. I don't know.
Violet? I believe.
Yeah.
I said
Violet.
Violet. Yeah.
Vile?
Yeah.
Vile?
That was all
It's
her.
Vile.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Vile.
Vile.
Violet
Oh.
works.
Me and I are good friends.
All right.
If it was up to me, all the background music would be like Mos Def and like Lupe Fiasco, Dramatics. I don't have any part in
All
that.
these. All right. So you hinted a little bit at how this the Iron Legion versus the Hellforge may be leading up to the newest hero and Heroes of New Earth. Is there anything you can give us on that? I mean, any information?
The new guys, yeah, he's really cool. Just like aesthetically, we kind of went for more. He's a bad guy, you know. He's Hellborn. He's a bad guy, but he's not as like a South Forest or a Hellbringer or anything like that. He's a more, I don't want to say cartoony, but he's more classic. He's more classic villain, kind of like if you think like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like Dick Dastardly, and you know, like the Claw from Inspector Gadget. He's more in that vein where it's very not over the top, but it's kind of like deliberate in what we did with him. So
Like Shredder.
yeah,
Like
kind of like
Shredder.
Shredder. Like you can look at this dude and be like, yeah, he's up to no good. But you
That's
know,
pretty obvious.
he's not the kind of guy where, you know, he's just gonna like shoot you in the face. He's the type of dude where he like tie you to the train tracks and then tell you his master plan and then just dip because you know that's what he does. So he's got other people
Not
to tie
actually
him.
wait to see it follow through. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
but
happens.
no, he's I got test him out in a couple games and he is a lot of fun. Like a lot of fun.
So nothing as far as what the hero does itself. Can't really hint on that yet, or.
I mean a little bit. He's a lot of mobility. Like he has a lot of mobility, and he's very unique attack mechanics. He's very unique attack mechanics. It's gonna keep the person that's playing against him, like you have to be on your feet because if you're just standing still, you're gonna get destroyed. So he's really good at I don't want to say lane. Like laning is the strongest. Like where's the strongest in the laning period.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're finally porting techies into Han, is what you're saying.
Yeah, man. Techies, don't go to the shop. Don't ever go to the shop.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Were you involved in the Plinko, by the way? Any bit of Plinko?
No. I saw that post and someone was like, "Yeah, Tony too." I don't know where that came from, but
Just accept it, man. People love Plinko. I'm playing Plinko right now. I
Just
just
give credit
dropped
to
another 1,000 coins.
yeah.
I'm an addict. Because somebody stop me, please.
No, man. That wasn't me. It's cool. I like it. It's kind of I get kind of mad because I was like, man, with all these cool advertisers, you just get them for like so cheap, so random. But
Yeah,
I mean, I
it's
guess
tough.
that's
It's tough. Don't worry.
the glory of it.
Yeah, it's pretty much one of the best things that happen. I think it's safe to say. I mean, it's the new best MOBA, as people are calling it. So
Samuel L. Jackson and Plinko on the same day?
Oh
my gosh.
Man.
I don't even know, man.
I was so happy when we were able to drop that.
Yeah.
Like that was like a little dream come true for me. He's one of my favorites. He is absolutely one of my favorites.
did you ever get to talk with him?
I
personally, or no?
didn't.
You didn't get to?
I didn't get a chance to.
I did.
To talk with him.
I
You did?
I gotta say what's up. I gotta hang out with it. No, I didn't actually do any of that.
Oh man.
I wish.
I would have been like a little girl, just sitting there.
Yeah. It's so awesome that we were able to get him though, and obviously into the game. So
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, it really is, man. He, you know, he's probably the greatest person ever.
he's up there.
In my opinion.
He's up there. He's up
He's
there as
up-
one of the
yeah.
best. And now we
Every
just
time
need...
he
Go ahead.
every time he drops a choo choo, I'm just like, it doesn't get any better than this.
Yeah.
Like it actually does not get any better than the Sam
that
Jackson
was-
dropping a choo choo.
That was a good line. Whoever came up with it, pretty smart guy.
He's a great co-caster. I'll say that much too. So is there anything? I mean, we talked about this Iron Legion versus the Hellforge one. Is there anything else in the pipeline that maybe down the line that you're really excited for as far as design goes or anything?
Yeah,
Okay.
there is, and I mean this one's like way, not way down, but still like pretty new.
Yeah.
But you know, we got that new hero coming out who's gonna be cool. But the one after that was the one that like, if it comes out the way that I want it to, it's gonna be a lot of fun, And I don't really know what to compare it to.
Okay.
But if you guys have played like Yoshi's Story or Oddworld,
Okay.
There's people in there that are comparable. If you could think of someone who's similar as in both of those games, that would be a good idea. But no, aside from that, we got a lot of cool stuff coming out pretty soon. You know, with the Iron Legion and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then if people liked the Polywog, like the Polywog avatar that we had, Holly Polly.
Which, oh
was
god,
like,
yeah, that's a creepy one, man.
Yeah,
you actually really realize what the hell it is.
I know it's messed up, but you know that's what she went through, man. That's her life. Like you can't judge her for that. But if you like stuff like that, it was kind of like the cosplay. We got a couple more of those coming out for some other characters, and those are really fun. I've been messing around with those too.
How does that process go as far as like coming up with these because there's been some like that one. I mean, there's been some the Blob for Gravekeeper. I mean, there's just some weird ideas, crazy ideas.
Yeah, that was before my time, man. I didn't have any part of that Gravekeeper.
All right, that was
Shinigami Gravekeeper's amazing.
Fair enough.
Yeah, sure, man. It's amazing.
Go with that. How does that process go though?
It's really, well, you know, we try and get together, and then, you know, throughout the weeks we get ideas and stuff, and that could come, you know, from anywhere, from like other video games we played, naturally, movies, just sitting around, you know, out at like a party or something, and it's like, oh well, you know, it'd be cool if blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of group all those together, and then, you know, we meet, and then we kind of go back and forth talking about, you know, just kind of like spitball, and then we actually look and see like, okay, you know, who needs something, because you can have an idea that could work for like several different people, and you just gotta cater it to their avatar and what they look like. So we'll look at, you know, like Artesia, like we know she needs one, so we've been trying to get her one for like the longest time. Fancy Bird just came over here and styled on me, but so yeah, we look and say, okay, you know, who needs one? Does it make sense for them to have one? Would it be the best idea for them? And then we kind of think like, okay, is it going to fit into the game? Because some of them, like a lot of mine, like are really out there, and they just like don't fit. And sometimes if you like force those in, then it doesn't really come out you want it to. Like an example of that would be the Blood Hunter one, Baby Yaga. Like that one, like I had like this cool, like I was like, all right, so I want it to be like, you know, like this raptor, and kind of like, you know, like a Zergling that has like the big ass spikes and stuff that you stick people with, but it just didn't come out the way that we wanted it to with like the animations and stuff. Yeah. But so that, yeah, I mean, there's that happens, but the more, you know, the more experienced that you are, and the more that you do it, the less frequent those are, to the point where it almost doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got a decent sized team. And like anybody, you know, anyone here, if they got ideas, you know, from like our animators to like our artists, not just like the content people, they all kind of like pitch in, and then from there we just kind of feed off each other and figure out what would be the coolest.
Okay, so yeah, speaking about, you know, getting insight from just people around the what about the community itself? I mean, does that ever happen? Does that happen?
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be you know, like I like to play games. So I try to get like a game or two in a day. And, you know, if people aren't telling me how bad of a person I am, you know, whatever, because I always play on my S2 name. So I always ask, like, yo, what would you guys like to see in the game? And then people throw out some pretty cool ideas from time to time. So I mean, it's hard to say because sometimes we'll do something, and then like someone will be like, yo, that was my idea, and then we'll be like, yeah, sure, whatever, man. But then you look back and like 2 years ago on the forum, like, you know,
they made a hint about it. Yeah,
if we made like a frozen magmas or something like that. And then I was like, oh shit, well, I mean, I guess you did think about it, but you know, that's just the zeitgeist. Like what's going around it perpetuates itself. Yeah. But we do take ideas from the community. And I always cruise around to see, you know, what it is that people want to see, because in the end of the day, you know, we're making this for you guys. Like we're doing it for you guys. So if y'all speak up and you all want something, then we do pay attention to that.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of that, MilkFat wants a Milkman Bubbles.
Oh my gosh, I know he does so bad, and I want him to have it. I really do, but you know, the higher ups, man, like the lactose intolerant, so they don't really take the thing. And
gotcha.
It's rough.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I know Heimer's been pushing this one for the longest time, aka Cheese Helmet. Is it the construction behemoth? I think it is.
Yeah, I wanted to do that one too, but that got shut down because then we were like, we were gonna put that one in. It's kind of like a because now we're doing a lot of them kind of like themed, you know, like whatever theme it is. And as a one-off, you know, the construction worker Behemoth, because I saw that he wanted it and some other people wanted it. I was like, oh, Behemoth, you know, like a hard hat, little tool belt, like some ripped freaking like corduroys or something, like a big, you know, steel. What do you call it? Tube? I don't know.
Yeah, the tube.
Yeah,
I don't know,
the tube, the steel tube,
whatever
that they make buildings out of. No, and that, you know, that would be cool.
Pillar.
But instead, we came out with another one that's I would say better. I would say better idea. And I mean, if you're a fan of baseball, you should like this new Behemoth that's coming out. It's pretty cool. Got new effects and everything. So, but yeah, I'm still trying. I'm still trying to get that construction one in.
I'm gonna give you a free one right here. Construction Behemoth needs to be a part of the Village People set.
The Village People set.
There you go.
You need to get the Village People set, man. You got to get like the Navy guy that's gonna be Gladiator.
Yeah.
I don't even know like what else is in there, but
there's the Indian dude.
The Indian dude that could be a bunch of people.
Tundra, yeah.
Tundra, exactly.
Well, no,
it's
just the cop. There's a cop in there.
No.
I know my wife.
I don't know what that is, but
there's a cop, man. Yeah, there's a cop. And you know, when you have those guys on, your announcer defaults to the flamboyant pack.
Hey-o, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
This is how these sessions work. This is what you just talked about. You know, it just starts flowing, man.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Well, YMC, expect that in a couple of weeks, guys. The jungle.
Yeah.
Don't expect that in a couple of weeks.
But no, yeah, man, we got that, and then we got some really cool stuff. We got some new taunts coming out pretty soon. Yeah, which I am.
It's been a while since we've had a taunt, I think.
It's been a minute. It has been a minute.
Yeah.
And I would say this one's worth the wait.
Yeah.
And the one, because my favorite taunt, I guess my two favorite ones are the Fist of Soul one, because I think like a giant hand coming down and smashing someone, like that's just hilarious to me. And then the celebration one too was the one, or one like the first ones where they're like, hey, make a taunt. And I was like, I always think it'd be funny if you kill someone and then everyone starts cheering and celebrating. So that, and you know, played a lot of Halo, so you know, you get the headshot and the kids start cheering and stuff like that.
Fair enough.
But this one's gonna be pretty cool, and it's nice because it's not one of the more like, some of the taunts are really kind of like offensive and in your face, and this one's more. It's still like you don't want to get taunted by it, but it's not as like, oh shoot. It's more like, oh yeah, you got me good.
Yeah.
That's super vague, but you know what I mean.
There's a taunt coming out in the near future. It taunts the other person. So
it does. It taunts the other person.
Got him.
We got that. Stupid Merrick making noise. I had the shop open. All of a sudden he starts humming and shit.
I hate that so much. Yeah. I hate
it's annoying.
With all my soul. I hate it.
Oh,
Tony
boy.
Two Toes, did you do Troika from the Iron?
Oh yeah.
Oh my, that's my favorite avatar in the game. So shout out, favorite hero, favorite avatar. You're the man.
Oh, nice. Thanks, man. Yeah, the Iron Legion ones were fun.
Yeah.
Blacksmith as well. Like that's probably my top 5.
Yeah.
Love that Blacksmith.
Speaking of,
he looks so.
Speaking
awesome.
of that, what does it do with Ultimate Avatars actually? What was the last one we had? Ophelia, I think it was. Most recent one. Is there anything coming out in the pipeline on that, or?
There is actually. There's gonna be one in the Robot Wars.
Okay.
There's gonna be one in the Robot Wars. So it's really cool. It's really cool. And I think Ophelia was the last Ultimate Avatar.
So,
yeah. Because before that it was Ravener.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I played so many games with him.
And all of a sudden, Ravener's like #1 hero competitive scene too. And then
yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, people don't realize that when you pick an all avatar, like your percentage to win goes up like at least by like 4 or 5%. It does. It really does.
No facts to prove this, but it does.
No, I mean, well, if you look at the numbers, you know, like the Deviant or the Ultimate Ravener, his Q travels like 100 speed faster than the other ones.
Really?
No,
don't do that.
That would be so messy.
I mean, there was the one time when like Gluttony Devo was like blatantly overpowered compared to the other Devo avatars.
People would complain that they couldn't see him opening up his belly, and it's like, well, that's too bad. I mean, you need to pay attention. Like, it's a fast-paced game. No, but that was we went back and fixed that because that one was the tell wasn't as obvious, and that was kind of the same thing with like I remember when Phoenix Ra came out. And you know, like the regular Rod, he like throws his hand up, and Phoenix Rod, she kind of just like
did that, like shrugs his shoulders.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm coming. But Rod's nerfed now anyway, so
well, I will say there's that, and yeah, I for the most part, from what I can tell, it seems like that's pretty well taken care of as far as animations go and whatnot. But there is one thing that is kind of still a pet peeve of mine, is the idea that, like, Tremble's a great example of this, and because the Tremble hero is like this big bug, and his alternate scans, you know, they're kind of similar. But then all of a sudden, there's a freaking chipper with whatever that's called, you know, for digging into the ground. It's like, wait, this is Tremble, like.
I love that avatar.
What, do you guys try to stay away from that for the most part, or does that happen just occasionally, or?
Those are kind of like those are more like one-offs.
Okay.
And it's not like not what I would like to see per se, but for like the limited edition ones, we feel that we have a little bit more, I guess, ground to explore with the Tremble one. I mean, if you think about it, like, it kind of makes sense. Like, he barrels into the ground and he has like a little dude's Groundhog's Day. But if you line it up next to the hero, you don't. There's nothing about him that's like, oh yeah, it's a Tremble avatar.
Exactly.
No, so I mean, if you look at them now, and we try to do that a lot, like with like the Black Legion, some of the other packs that we had lately, the themes, is to really make it so that you can just look at their silhouette and have a good idea of who the hero is, because that, I mean, like you're saying, that is a problem, and it's one that I mean, I'm very like aware of and conscious of, in the sense that we got like 120 plus heroes in the game, something like that now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And you know, they all have like almost like 2 or 3 avatars. Some of them have like 5 or 6. And
some of them have like 10 or 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Flint.
Devo.
Flint Devo. It gets to the point where people should never be a concern, where you're like, I need to figure out who this person is. It should be readily apparent. That's really what we're trying to like hold ourselves to now.
Yeah.
And so there's certain things that we're not trying to change. Like I said, we're trying to have it so they have the same silhouette more or less, and you know, try and keep the attack animations the same. Some of the idols and stuff, like the runs, just like the core things that you really identify with the heroes, like have those sync up. And then when we do that, then we actually can be a little bit more creative on other things, as far as what we're going to do with the textures, and the colors don't necessarily have to be the same if they have the same silhouette attack animation. So it's give and take, you know. It's give and take. Like there's 4, I would say like 4 or 5 main things that you need to hit, and that's like having the same silhouette, having the same animations, the same colors, and like thematically, you know, like the sand, or not the Sandman, but like if we're gonna make like a sand wraith, you know, you should have some sort of like dripping kind of sand or like elemental effect to him.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what we try and hit on when we can.
One more question that I personally have is that if there was a hero that you could make avatars for, is there one specific hero that really stands out to you that you're just like, yeah, I can make avatars for this hero forever? Like, this is just a fun hero and fun to do around.
Let me look at him real quick. I mean, my gut feeling is Grinix, just because he's like one of my favorites. But
Devour has a lot.
Yeah, Devour has a lot. I would say, even though he doesn't have that many, probably Tremble.
Yeah,
Tremble, just like,
because he got Boris as well.
Yeah, he's just a giant bug, man, and I like those monster type characters, and that to me is, I have like the easiest time thinking of you know, how we're gonna make them look. So probably like Renix or Tremble, Madman too. Madman too. Yeah, him. Those are just very easy. But then some of them are hard, man. Some of them are hard. Like Midas is hard to make people for.
Yeah.
Artesia too, and it doesn't seem like it, but
whenever in doubt, just go with bigger boobs. I mean,
yeah,
that's
you'll feel it, man. Bigger titties that don't really go in sync. They don't defy any laws of physics.
I'm out of here, guys.
Oh
see you next week.
Oh, that's that's true.
I don't know, man.
Anyways,
6 Grinix needs to be renamed to Skeeter, by the way, because he just skeeters around. That's what he does. Needs to be renamed. Petition right.
You muted yourself, by the way, Guzma.
Oh. Yeah, you say Skeeter, and I just think of like Doug Funny.
That's what I was thinking.
It works.
Yeah, not many people know this, but Skeeter was black, even though they made him blue. Skeeter, and the game of Skateboard, he was one of the few black characters in that game. I saw this nice little report that was talking about like how Doug was like a critique on like the social stratification of like North America. It was really funny.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Where that
Yeah, that guy, Doug.
Wow.
And then I saw another one that was talking about Winnie the Pooh and how all the characters in there had some sort of like mental like disorder, like Eeyore clearly depressed. Rabbit has OCD. Piglet has anxiety issues.
Isn't there there's the Rugrats one too, where it's like all just a dream? It was all like just a dream. It was all like Angelica's dream or something like that.
It's just stupid. I just go through and it just ruins like all my childhood shows.
It really does. It really does.
It's bad. It is bad.
Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it has been real. Thanks for having me on, guys.
It has been. Any Beef, any final questions from you? I mean, are we good?
The hell happened with Chip and Dale, Berserker, and Legionnaire?
I don't want.
Let's just.
I don't want.
Sometimes.
I gotta get my flame in there because those ones are atrocity.
I tried, guys. I tried not to have that, but
I tried not to have that.
You know, I'm just one guy. You know, I'm just one guy.
That's it. Everything else I love.
There's your village people, man. There's your village people. That's probably as close as we're gonna get. I hope.
Any final words from you, Guzman? Any final shout outs? Want to make Mr. Tony Two Toes?
Just, you know, keep playing. And if you see me in a game, don't like. You guys gotta understand. I'm not like smurfing. All right. I'm not like 20, you know, like 2,000 or anything like that. I am in 1,500 brackets because I'm a scrub and that's where I belong. And I don't appreciate all this flack I'm getting from you people. It's hard enough to play this game with people just like, I don't know, they're always on your jock. But yeah, just look forward to the new stuff we got coming out. The new hero, he's gonna be nice. He's gonna be a lot of fun to play. You're never gonna catch him.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm
looking forward to it.
Not as bad as Repulsor, but
all right.
Pretty close.
Robotron.
All right. Well, we'll just do the whole wrap up here while we do have him on still. Beef, any final words from you? Any shout outs you want to make before we wrap this up here?
Shout out to the viewers as always. Thanks for tuning in to the DreamHack Winter Qualifiers this weekend. Look forward to the Sound Blaster Heroes League all week long. $15,000 in cash on the line. So guys, be here all week.
With that said, we are going to be wrapping things up here on the Honcast Podcast, guys. One more time, big shout out to Tony Two Toes from S2 Games for joining us here on the podcast. Talking a little bit about the design aspect and whatnot of the game. Shout out to Beef as well for being the co-caster. And, you know, definitely another podcast in the books here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. As he said, we're going to be coming right back, guys. Sound Blaster Heroes League. We are going to be coming right back here as far as coverage. That's going to be Lions versus DC Fabulous. Going to be next, followed by TMSR versus Fade to Black from the bracket stages of the Sound Blaster Heroes League. You don't want to miss it, guys. Have a good night. We'll see you coming up shortly here. I'm going to turn off the stream. Going to do a reset here. That is amazing, by the way.
Did he just turn into Bane?
He just turned into Bane out of nowhere.
Can we get Pablo McDad in here?
That was so badass. The jacket, what those headphones? I don't even know what just happened.
I guess those are Bane headphones.
I guess so. Apparently they are.
Sound Blaster probably makes those. They're awesome.
Come on. All right. So that's going to do it, guys. Again, I'm going to restart the stream. Obviously, got to put the delay on and everything for the cast. We'll be back, though. Lions versus DC Fabulous going to get it kicked off. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so at the most with the match. So stay tuned. Have a good night, guys. I'll see you in just a bit.